Hello, hello. How are we today? Welcome to this week's episode of Hearty Tips with Silka. Now today I am going to tell you how to mix skin color paint. I know it's something that some people find challenging, so I'm going to tell you how to mix skin color paint in 4 easy steps. Super easy. Now if you've ever been painting and trying to sort of mix paint to create a skin color, but you've just not been able to get that shade that you want because you're not really sure what colors to mix in the first place, then this is for you. Today's Hearty Tips with Silka is for you. I know a lot of people think, oh, I'll just have a go, throw some colors together and see what I get. How hard can it be, right? The problem with that is that if you're not sure what colors to mix or start with in the first place, or even what quantities to mix them in, or even what order to mix them in, you might end up just wasting loads and loads of paint and time as well and get frustrated because you're still not getting the color you want. So you just get frustrated and disappointed, and you start losing the joy and fun of painting and maybe even give up on painting. Don't do that. No. Or you might end up with a skin color. You get a skin color you've mixed with your paint, but it's just not quite right, but you're so fed up with trying to mix it and trying to get the color you want that you use it anyway, and you end up with a painting that you're not happy with. That is exactly what happened to me. I tried to do a painting for my brother a few years ago of his whole family, and all the skin colors I was mixing were just not quite right, but I wanted to get the painting finished, so I did it anyway, and they all ended up looking like overtanned aliens. So I know what it feels like. It is totally disheartening and a bit disappointing when you want to paint, but you're stuck because you don't know how to mix the colors you want. And I don't want that for you. No. So I want to save you all that frustration and disappointment. And today I'm going to show you exactly what paint colors to mix, how to mix them together, what proportions to use, everything you need to know, how to mix skin color. I'm going to start by showing you how to mix a base color first, and then what colors to add so that you can make any skin tone you want, whether you want blush skin or tan skin or different ethnicities or lighter skin. I'll show you how to get any skin tone you want today. So hello, hi Brenda. Brenda's here. Hi Brenda. Now for those of you who don't know me, I'm Silka, founder of Heart for Art and my signature fast results painting membership for new artists called Paint Club. I help struggling first-time painters and aspiring artists, just like anyone here watching, learn all the skills you need so you can paint beautiful art with confidence. Now, let me know in the comments whether you're watching on live or on replay if you've ever had trouble mixing a specific color that you wanted. Just type Y for yes. If you've ever had trouble mixing a specific color you wanted. Now I'm sharing this essentially today because I do Q&A sessions with my Paint Club members where they can ask me anything they might have been struggling with or they want help to learn, and I help them learn it. I'll show them how to do stuff. So recently, one of our Paint Clubbers asked how to mix pale skin color for blushed cheeks. So I gave them the steps for that, and I've actually taught it in some of our paintings that we do in Paint Club as well. But I thought you might find that helpful. Everyone here in Heart for Art land might find that helpful too. So that's why I'm sharing that today. So if you've ever struggled to make skin color paint, today is for you. All right. Now, like I said, you could try and carry on trying to figure it out by yourself and mix all the colors on your own and just experiment. And it can be fun to experiment and play with colors. In fact, I do often encourage that. It is a great way to learn what colors combinations do and what ones don't work. But if you're at a point where it's just getting frustrating, you're feeling discouraged, or you're disappointed in your result, it is always time to take a new approach. All right, because I don't want you to just because if you don't want to just end up, sucking all the fun out of your creative time and potentially put yourself off painting altogether. So the easiest way to solve any painting problem that you're stuck on is just to find someone who can show you how. All right. And so that's what I'm here for today, to help you. And it's why I teach painting step by step, just to make it easy for anyone. And it's why I create a Paint Club, is to make learning to paint super easy so you can get the fun out of painting without the frustration. So who's ready to see how to make a skin color with paint? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. And I will show you how. Now, before I get into that, step one, when you're mixing any colors, is that you want to get an understanding of color dominance first. All right. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a sip of my drink. You need to understand color dominance first. Now, if you're new to painting, some colors are more dominant than others. Like, for example, black is clearly more dominant than white. Now, I'm only talking about paint colors here. But generally, the darker a color is, the more dominant it is, which basically means that you need less of the darker color to change the color of the lighter color. All right. A darker color will essentially change the lighter color very, very quickly with only a small amount, so you won't need very much. So, for example, if you're going to mix a gray, you need lots of white and only a tiny little bit of black. And that's why when you're mixing any colors, skin colors or any colors, that's why when you're mixing your colors, it's always better to start with the lighter colors first and then add a little dip of the darker colors and keep adding little dips until you get the colors you want, because that means you can control the mix. You can control the blend much, much easier. All right. And if you do too much at once, you know, the darker color, you'd need 10 times, 20 times more of the lighter color to go back. So that's why it's important when you're start with the lighter color and just add little bits each time. If you add too much, it's harder to fix it. But if you just add little bits at a time, you can always add more, but it's harder to go back. It's just easier to control your mix that way. So that's step one, is understanding dominance of different colors. All right. So step two is to get the right paint colors. Now, you might not think these are the colors that you would use, but these are the colors that you need to make skin color. So I've got a white, I've got a dark brown that I'm using burnt sienna today, and I've got a red and a yellow. So these are your four colors. Now I'm using cool red and cool yellow today. You can use a different shade of brown as well if you want to. Oh, I'm going to drop them all. Oh, sorry, that was a bit loud. But make sure it's dark enough to get the tone that you want. All right. And you can use other shades of yellow and red as well. You can use warm red and warm yellow, but do know that they will give a slightly different shade. It won't be much different. It's the same principle of how to mix these colors, but it will give you a slightly different shade if you're using those warm reds and warm yellows. If you want a bit of an explanation of the difference between warm and cool colors, you can go check out my blog, heartforart.co.nz. Go to the menu, click on blog, and look for the Theory of Color article that I did. That will help you. So once you've got your colors, your red, your yellow, your brown, and your white, step three is obviously mixing your colors. Now, you want to do this in a certain order just to make it easy for yourself. All right. Now, I've got a little bit of paint on my palette, and this is an indication of how little of these colors you need, these three colors, to actually mix your skin color. The predominant color is going to be white, your base color, and then we'll just add little bits of the other ones. So let me show you how to mix a base skin color first, and then I'll show you how to tweak it to make any skin tone paint color you want. All right. So mixing various combinations of these colors here will pretty much get you any skin tone you want. All right. Just so you know, just remembering, where's a paintbrush? That would be handy. Here's one. So just remembering the color dominance. We're going to start with white. Can I get any closer? I might just go like this a little bit. There we go. Then you can see my palette a bit better. So we're going to start with white. Where's the right angle? I might just go like that. Then I can put my finger through the hole. Yeah. So we're going to start with white, and you want enough white so that you can work with a little bit of shading if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to start with white, nice and easy, and then we're going to add little dips of brown till we get a medium brown. All right. Now remember, we're just going to start with little dips. Okay. So we put little dips in. It'll change slightly, and you just put a little bit more in, and you'll see how quickly it changes. Okay. Now, you saw how little I put in each time. and how much of a change it made. Okay. So by doing little dips at a time, we can control it. If I were to put loads of brown in now, I'd need heaps more white if I went too dark. Okay. So we're just going for a medium brown. I'm going to keep adding my little dips till I get a nice, is it weird having half my face showing? Till you get a nice sort of medium tone there, maybe a little bit darker. All right, so remember this is just our base color, okay? So we're going for a medium brown. You decide how dark you want to go. So that's probably about enough for me. Sorry, a bit off screen there. Let me just check that. Maybe a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, so I've got my base color now. Now you can see I'm just rolling my brush. That's basically because all the paint sits around the side of the brush, and that just gets it back onto the palette by doing that. Okay, so I've got, let me just check my base color. Yep, I'm happy with that. So I've got my base color. So what I want to do now is just add very, very tiny little dips of yellow and also red. Okay, now that roughly equal proportions, and that's going to give us more of a skin feel to it. They're going to make it look more human. Okay, so I'm just going to roll my brush, get most of it off. I'm not cleaning my brush, so I'm just going to take a tiny little dip of yellow, and you can see I've just got the tiniest little bit of yellow there, and I'm going to mix that in. You'll see it changes slowly, and again we just want to do little dips at a time, but this is just what's going to give it the sort of human skin flavor. You see it's just a slight yellow tone, and again same again with red. Now red is more dominant because it's obviously a lot stronger color, darker, so we just need to add a little bit of that in, and you'll see as you add tiny little dips, see it's so little there that you can barely see it on the brush, it changes color slightly, and you'll start to notice. Actually, I might just put you down a little bit more. You'll start to notice that it's becoming skin colory. That's not a word, but the color of skin. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, sorry, off screen. So now it's really starting to look skin colory. So it's little dips of red and yellow are roughly in the same proportion, and just slowly mix them in, and you'll get a feel for it. You'll get a feel for it when it's, you know, there. So I'm feeling like that's almost there. I'm just going to have a quick check. So that's your skin base, your base color. All right, so this is not our final color yet, although it could be if that's the color you are after. So what we want to do now, so that's step 3, is you mix your base color, base skin color. Now what we want to do is tweak it to get the tone that we want. Now varying quantities of your yellow and your red and your brown and your white actually will get you basically any skin tone you want. Okay, if you want a paler, more white, English, dare I say, skin color, add a little bit more white. So I'm just going to do a little bit over the side here. You can add a bit more white, and as you do this, it's really key to remember that because you're adding more paint, you want to also add a little bit more yellow and red. So once you've got the shade of skin that you want, so this is a little bit lighter now, we want to give it that human feel, and that's where the yellow gives a little bit of life, you know, a little bit of sort of a sun-kissed flavor, and then red as well. Just, I mean, I guess that's the blood under the skin, basically, red and yellow, and that's going to give you a lighter tone. Be careful not to go too much darker though, because you'll go back to your original tone. So that's there, you've got a nice lighter tone there. But depending on how much white you're adding, you want to add a little bit more of the red and the yellow again as well. Okay, so again, I'm just going to roll my brush to get most of the paint off. Actually, I'm going to wipe my brush. So that's if you want lighter skin. If you want blushed cheeks, which was the original question, how to do skin color with blushed cheeks. I think, was that your question, Brenda? I think that was your question. Then we're gonna, whichever one you want to do, you just add a little bit more red in. So if we add it to this one, you just add a little bit more red in. Now it only needs to be a subtle little amount because you're only going for a blush, you know, or if you want to go for you know, sunburn, this is your way to get your sunburn skin as well. Okay, so you can see I've just added a little bit more. Let me get that light up a bit higher. I've added a little bit more red, and I've got a slightly blushed sort of flavor to the color there. I probably should have done this the other way over my shoulder. But you can see that they're slightly blurred. You can put a little bit more in if you want, but I wouldn't go too far because it's just not going to look realistic anymore if you go too far. All right. So you've got a nice blush look. If you've gone too far, no worries. Put a little bit more white back in, a little bit more yellow back in, a little bit more brown, red, whatever, and you can power it back again. All right. So that's just softened it back again. But just always be mindful that if you're using too much of the brown or the red, brown and the white, which we'll get to the brown in a minute, but if you're using a lot of the white, you need to just add little bits of the red and yellow in as well, just to keep it looking human. If you want to go darker skin tone, same principle. Instead of using white, I'm just going to push some off to the side here, we use brown. So we just add a little bit more brown and we can go a bit darker. All right. Now you can do this incrementally and have lots of different shades, or if you want to go, really dark, you can do that. So here we've gone a little bit darker. And again, because we've added more paint, we just want to keep it lifelike by adding a little, and you can see it's just the tiniest little dips of yellow. It's barely on my brush. It's just a hint of the yellow and a hint of the red. If we don't do that, it just ends up being light brown. All right, the yellow and the red are sort of what gives it its human flavor. So I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but human feeling to it, the tones. Yeah. So there now we've got a slightly darker skin tone there as well, you can see. If you want to go really dark, you can add a smidge of black, but keep in mind that black is like the most dominant color. Let me show you. Hang on. Get some black out of my pot. I'm only going to use the tiniest little bit, look, because you really don't need much at all. So what you want to do if you want to go really, really darker colored skin tone, so you've got those, you've got your base color that you've started here. We've got a lighter one, a blushed one, and we've got our darker version here. We can still go darker again. I'm just going to go off to the side here. We can still go darker again here, whereas we add some more brown. Okay, we probably need a bit of the base color first as well. A bit more brown. And again, because we're adding more paint, we still need to keep that human feel to it. We want to add a little bit of yellow. Now the yellow is going to be overpowered and dominated by that brown a lot more. So you may need a bit more of the yellow. And then we add a little bit of red as well. So we've gone darker again with brown, but like I said, if you want to go really dark, you can add the tiniest, can you even see that? A little bit more. Tiniest little smidge of black on my brush will change it very, very quickly. All right, so just tiny little dips at a time, and you can actually go a little bit darker still. I'll just do a little bit actually. But just be careful that you're not forgetting your yellow and your red. So we can just little dips. Now the black, if you put a big dollop of black in there, it's just going to go real dark really, really quickly, and you're not going to have that much control over the shade of it. That's why I always like to do little tiny dips at a time and just take my time with color mixing. All right. But like I said, I was about to say, don't forget to, always important to remember to add your yellow and a little bit of red, and that will keep it looking alive. That's what gives it a life to the color. So there you have another darker color, and of course you can go darker or lighter in either direction as well. Yeah, so there we go. I'll give you a nice close-up of all the different shades of color I've just mixed, and there's a reflection of my light. Sorry about that. There's all the colors there that I've just mixed. So you've got your blushed one right at the top there, going through to all the darker ones in the middle. And you can essentially, it kind of looks like, when you go to the makeup artist people, I don't do that very often, but they have all the different shades of foundation. So that's kind of what we're doing here. We're mixing all the different shades of foundation. So that's it, as easy as it is. Now, a tip, if you're trying this for the very first time, I recommend only using a little bit of paint so that if you don't, so you don't waste too much of it if you don't quite get it right, straight off the bat. And know that you may not get it right first time, and that's okay. Most people who are learning something new, they won't get it perfect first time round, and that's cool. That's totally cool. Another thing to remember is don't make the mistake of thinking you can save a color if it's not working. All right, if it's not working and it's just gone horribly dark, don't try and put 20 times more white in it to fix it. And if you know it's gone wrong, start again. Just start again. All right, it's not a problem. Now I promise you that the more you practice, the more you practice anything, and painting and stuff, the more you practice, the better you will get at it. And especially when it comes to mixing different shades, if you want different shades, the more you practice, the better you will get at it. And the best way to practice is to paint more often. That's that simple. Mixing colors, doing this kind of thing is actually exactly what I teach in Paint Club, which is my online membership. And it's where I teach a new painting every month as well. And as I teach how to mix all the colors you need for each painting we do, and all the techniques and step-by-step instructions for each part of the painting. So if we're ever mixing skin color, I teach how to mix skin color as well. And I do that all step by step and teach you it all along the way, so that you're basically having fun learning, creating a new painting, and you're learning all those new skills and techniques along the way while you're having fun, which adds to all your painting knowledge, so that what you know how to do grows basically each time you paint. You're always picking up new tips and skills. And with me showing you everything, with super simple, easy to follow steps, it's actually tons of fun. Painting is tons of fun and doesn't have to be frustrating. And that's my goal, is to take the frustration or any disappointment out of painting so that everyone enjoys it. Okay. We actually did a painting recently with 3 different ladies in it, sitting on the beach, and all of them had different skin tones. So as we painted, I showed our paint clubbers how to mix all the different skin tones for each lady, that was a fun one. And if you join Paint Club, you'll get access to the replay of that one, so you can practice mixing your skin tone paint colors as well. And actually, if you're serious about learning to paint and you want to learn more skills and new mixing things and blending and shading and all of that stuff that goes with it, and you want to get more practice with a bit of extra support and a new painting to learn every month, an extra step 5 for you today is to get on my Paint Club wait list. All right, Paint Club is my monthly membership where I teach a new painting every month, and it is the perfect place to start, because you'll have me guiding you step by step all the way, and you'll have all our community there to support you and cheer you on as well. Paint Club is closed at the moment, but we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you as one of our newest members when we reopen, which is pretty soon. It's coming pretty soon. I haven't set a date yet, but it's not far off. But if you want to find out about that, just click the link in the post for this live, which will take you to my Paint Club waitlist page. You can add your name and email to the form there and hit the button, and you will be added to our waitlist and be the very first to know when we reopen to new members. So you'll get dibs on first spots for that. And I promise, with the right instructions and a willingness to try, everyone and anyone can be an artist. I design all of my paintings to be doable by first-time painters, people who've never held a paintbrush. All right, so anyone can do any of my paintings, and all you have to do is follow the steps. Okay. Now, when you get on the wait list, there's no obligation, just so you know. It just means that you'll be the first to know when Paint Club opens up again. And you can check out all the details of Paint Club, all the arty goodness, everything you get in Paint Club, and you can decide if it's right for you then, like when it's open. So all you have to do is you can decide then if it's something that is right for you. But if you want to know when it's open, you have to get yourself on that wait list. And just so you know, this is what I'm teaching. This Saturday is our next painting, a lovely kookaburra that can also be, I'll be showing them paint clubbers how to paint this as a kookaburra or a kingfisher. This is a gorgeous one. I love this one. I had so much fun picking the colors for this one. So yeah, that's the one that's coming up in Paint Club. So if you want to learn how to paint that beautiful kookaburra, and actually the Starry Night in there, no, there's some of the paintings on the wall behind me are in there as well. Get yourself on the wait list. All right. So thank you for watching. I hope that's been useful. I hope you found that helpful. Let me get my paint out of the way before I lean on it. Let me know which bit you found most helpful. If you're watching this on replay or live, let me know which bit you found most helpful. Let me just sum up what I taught you today, give you a refresher. So we talked about how to mix skin color paint. And I showed you how to do it. And the first step is understanding color dominance. If you're brand new to painting, you need to understand that some colors are more dominant than others. So you need different proportions of them. The darker a color is, the less you will need of it. Okay. And then when you're mixing your colors, to start with your lighter color and then add little dips of the darker color. And if you add little bits at a time, it gives you a lot more control about how fast the shade changes, okay? And you have more control over the mix and the blend. Second step was to get the right paint colors, and they were white, brown. I used a burnt sienna, but you can use any darker brown that you have. And red and yellow. You can use cool reds and yellows, or you can use warm reds and yellows. Step 3, I showed you how to mix those colors together and what proportions and order to paint, to mix them in. You start with the white, and then you add little dips of brown till you get your roughly the shade you want, and then you add yellow and red, little tiny dips of yellow and red to give it life, to make it look, so it's not just light brown. It brings the color to life and makes it look alive. And then once you have that base color, you can basically use those 4 colors by tweaking the amounts that you add. You can add more brown to get a darker skin tone, or white to get a lighter skin tone. You can basically create any skin tone color you want. I mean, for me, I'm what I call European yellow. In summer, I have a slight yellow tinge to my skin. I think it's a European thing. So I would use a little bit more yellow for me. But yeah, with those 4 colors, you can essentially mix any skin color, any skin shade or tone that you want, just by varying the proportions that you add. And step 4, oh no, that was step what? Mix. Oh, I just did step 3 and 4. Okay. Cool. And then step 5, if you want more help learning to paint, if you're serious about learning to paint and you want more tips and help, then make sure to go and get on my Paint Club wait list. The link is in the post. It is the perfect place to get started painting, because all of my paintings are designed to be doable by anyone, even if you've never held a paintbrush or have no experience. That's why I designed them that way, so that anyone can enjoy the super funness of painting. And you'll get me, so get on the wait list, and then you'll find out all about Paint Club when it opens, and see how I can maybe help you step by step create beautiful paintings. Link is in the post. Go click on that, add your name on the form, click the button, and you'll be the first. You'll get on the wait list, and you'll be the first to know when I reopen Paint Club, which is going to be very, very soon. I'm quite excited. I'm just building some new stuff for it. So as soon as that is done, I'll be ready to open up again. So thanks again for watching. Brenda says, thanks so much. It was great to know about how much paint to use to mix. Yes, good. Thanks for that comment, Brenda, because it is quite remarkable how little of most of the colors you need. You know, tiny little dips to get just the right tone. And that is quite key to getting it right. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you found helpful if you're watching on replay. Thanks, Brenda, that you already did. That's good to know. And don't forget to like and share and follow if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe, click the little bell for notifications. And I hope you'll come back and hear more tips and strategies on how to live your most creative and happy life. And I hope to see you behind a paintbrush soon. Cheers. Bye.